My name is Jeremy Carnell. I'm the CEO and co-founder of truelytics, and we are pioneering what we call an advisor transition management platform for the financial services sector. We're a lean and mean team headquartered out of Austin, Texas. I'm joined at the C-suite by seasoned startup entrepreneurs. Eli Gassert's my chief technology officer. Ian Carnell, my genetic equal identical twin, is my chief revenue officer, lifelong startup business partner. My co-founder in this venture, and everyone actually on the bottom of that list are my subject matter experts. My co-founder, Terry Mullen, former president and CEO of Lincoln Financial Distributors. Casey Logan comes from Hartford and Lincoln. Owen Dahl, a former Mass Adams principal, as well as the author of How to Value, Buy, and Sell Financial Advisory Practices. We, to date, have some great traction. Our initial go-to-market was going after independent broker-dealers, custodians, and asset managers. We have 50 of those enterprises currently as customers, the likes in the wealth advisory space of Cetera and LPL, in insurance like M Financial, and in tax of Antax. We have 15,580 users. As of this year, we started going after RIAs directly, and that's really been supercharging our growth. We're currently at 1.5 million in annual reoccurring revenue, 57% year-to-date annual growth with a gross profit of 73%. As far as some recognition, the latest one that we got was from Investopedia, who ranked us as the best practice management software for data and analytics in 2021. We're getting this traction because demands for transitions in financial services are high. By transitions, I mean the trends to go independent from these advisors and agents, from moving from one broker-dealer to another, the trend to go to RIA, or to even plan for secession and grow strategically through mergers and acquisitions. The problem is that the process is broken. The lifestyle nature of these businesses now have led to 84% of them not having continuity or succession plans in place because of the demographic pressures. Average age is nearing 60, 38% are going to retire in the next 10 years. And because of the economic incentives in place, 13% just transition annually. Because of the legacy nature of financial services, there's an overdependence on really expensive and time-consuming professional services and consultants to deal with this. M&A consultants, valuation consultants, business brokers, recruiters, and the like. So truelytics is bringing digital transformation to this aspect of the market. We've built a end-to-end B2B SaaS platform that was purpose-built to match the life cycle of an independent advisor or agent. We have a recruiting module, we have a practice management module, planned and unplanned session module as well. And so new users that get onboarded into the platform are introduced to a transition dashboard where they can pick one of 6 transition business objectives, everything from practice optimization to exit or growing strategically. We ingest 150 data points for every book of business. We calculate that and produce thousands of peer benchmarks, 50 key performance indicators, 3 primary scorecards, a business client and revenue stability scorecard. This here is a great health and wellness check of that book of business before a transitional event. And the fact that we've evaluated 30,000 firms already in the United States really points to how we're beginning to Zillify this space. But we take it a step further than Zillow. Zillow will give you a Z estimate for your home value. We'll give you 4 different valuations for your book of business, but also those key performance indicators that we generate will show you where your unrealized value is and what screw to turn to capture that. And so when we looked at our data from 2018 to 2020, for the average independent advisory rep, we could show them $300,000 of unrealized value they could capture. For the heads of succession planning and practice management at the network level, so for example, an independent broker-dealer overseeing thousands of these, we were able to show them on average where $250 million of unrealized value exists across their network. We don't stop there, though. We take that rich data and add them to profiles for algorithmic matchmaking. This is happening in a private sense at the enterprise level to give those heads of succession planning a fighting chance to direct plan succession within network and keep those assets under management. We also leverage our data for data enrichment, and we give the enterprises robust enterprise functionality to manage their networks at scale, to be able to white label our solution or seamlessly integrate it with their primary platform through single sign-on and APIs. We have 3 tiers of pricing. Enterprises on average pay $100,000. Those are 3-year contract terms. That's really focused on independent broker dealers, custodians, and asset managers. At the professional level, that's really focused at the mid-market for us. So those are RIAs and OSJs. That's $20,000 a year, same 3-year contract terms. Unaffiliated advisors to our enterprises can self-serve for a $399 a month solution. Given that there's 900,000 of them, we see this as a huge market opportunity, one that we're really poised to capture, because out of the entire competitive set, the bulk of them are professional services that go direct to advisor. We're the only B2B SaaS platform that both has a exchange of value at the enterprise level as well as at the advisor/agent level. Our ask is we're seeking $2 million to supercharge revenue operations in a post-seed pre-Series A raise. That will give us 24 months of runway. Our objective is to take 1.5 million in ARR and grow that to 6 million in ARR. That would require 100% year-over-year growth. And I'll take any questions you have.
All right. Very well done. I've very rarely seen somebody hit the time.
I'm so excited.
As soon as you ended, it went off. So perfect timing.
Thank you.
And you crammed in a whole bunch of information in there. And I want to start out by saying I appreciate your font size selection on some of the important ones. Right? We'll come back to that, but that helped me quite a bit to be able to focus.
Great.
So. I also really love the fact that you spent time up front talking about the team, and I thought it was just the right amount given the time frame that you had. So very, very well done on that. I like the, if you look at this market, right, as you were saying, you know, a lot of transition going on with the financial advisors, always has been. I would have one of the numbers in there that really jumped at me, and I would have found a way to make that one the bigger font, is the fact that you've got 13% of these companies are transitioning every year. That's a pretty staggering statistic. So I would, it defines your market, right? Because that's how you get paid when people are actually doing that. So I think you should highlight that a little bit more. The other stat there, the 38% to retire in 10 years, again, pretty impressive when you get us old boomers, right? Hitting that retirement age and looking at that transition process. I liked your the revenue, right? That 100K a year, 25K a year, and the 399 for the independent advisor. One of the things that was that I needed a little bit of an explanation for me is you're charging that fee every year, and the question was, what if this was more transactional in nature as opposed to something that goes out over time? I mean, that was I had trouble when you said 3-year contracts, and I was like, well, if they're looking to transition this, what's the value that they get by signing up for a 3-year deal if they're looking to transition now? So that was lost on me just a little bit.
I'll actually just address that real quick. So those licenses are for enterprises, both at the 100,000 level. Those are the big enterprises. Mid-market, those are the RIAs. At the $100,000 level, those are networks of thousands of independent advisory reps. So they push it down to that network. And so those networks are all in different stages of their life cycle. Some are in practice optimization, some are in M&A, some are looking for a successor. So it's just at scale, those enterprises need to accommodate all of those different types of use cases. So that's why they pay the annual license.
Yeah, and Jeremy, that was my point, right? This is more than transactional focused, and one of the real value props, I think, of the platform, hence the name, right, are the peer benchmarks and the analytics that you get. So I would hit that a little bit harder as well. It's not 100% focused on the transition, but there's an ongoing value. So with that, I'm going to pass it off to Rob, because he knows a lot more about this space than I did.
Thank you for your feedback.
That's true. So yeah, nice presentation, Jeremy.
Thank you.
You know, it's interesting. I usually see the traction slide at the end. And at first, you started throwing out, it's a really impressive traction. You know,
Thank you.
1.5 million in ARR, 50 asset managers, 15,000 users, very impressive. No question, having that in the front of the presentation grabbed my attention, because my immediate conclusion was this is the real deal. You're onto something. Now, the flip side of that is that I'm still not exactly sure what your platform does. So maybe I don't know the industry as well. So go back to presentation. Use a use case. What did you do for a particular wealth manager or a firm, and walk us through that. I think that would help a little bit. Of course, the screenshots are great. A demo, if you had more time, would certainly help a lot. But again, the use case explaining a real world scenario that you use. I love your pricing. What is your average contract size? I mean, there's a big difference between enterprise and an individual user. But I have to suspect that your average size is in the tens of thousands, right?
It is. It's $37,000 is the average contract value, though the average lifetime value is something like $106,000 given our contract terms. So we have like a 3-to-1 LTV to CAC.
Those are great numbers. Make them big and bold. 37,000 annual contract value or average contract value. That's going to wake up some investors. Because you can add that up really quick and see how it turns into annual recurring revenue. And then I'm going to embarrass her here, but Priya is in the audience. She's in the wealth management space. You should speak to her. I'm sure she can have
happy to speak to her.
Some feedback there. So I just put her on the spot. That's all I had.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Truely.